Hello, hello, it's Dr. Pam here. This is something that I am starting new on this page. You know, I do Wellness Wednesdays every Wednesday, and I generally do it over on my main page, my Dr. Pam page, but I decided that I would come into this group tonight, and I'm going to give you guys some more information a little bit later as some more people come on, but I'll go on and introduce myself. I am Dr. Pam Middleton, your virtual holistic pediatrician. Through my books, programs, and services, I help families achieve and maintain health and wellness through inside out healing. And I see someone is on. I seem to have a little bit of a delay, so say something so I know you're here. And as we're going through, if you have any questions, just go on and, put it in the comment field. It will eventually come up. I will be happy to answer your questions. I sent out a brief newsletter today, and I spoke about some things about the flu, and I said I couldn't go into as many details in the newsletter, so I wanted to go into a little bit more detail here. But, for those of you who do not receive my newsletter yet, let me just tell you what I was saying. So first of all, everybody is really freaking out about the coronavirus. And unless you have just left China or are currently in China or are exposed to someone who has been in China, your risk of getting influenza is a whole lot higher than getting coronavirus. Okay. So, some things that I would like to share based on what I've seen with kids that I've been diagnosing this year with the flu. First of all, it's been a horrible, horrible flu season. At one point, I was diagnosing 2 to 4 children a day with the flu. It was mostly influenza B. When it first started, now we're starting to see a little bit more of influenza A. Influenza B seems to be the less severe of the two, but everybody is different, so you can have someone with influenza B that still might have a bad outcome or may have, extremely severe disease. So, my personal thought about why the flu this year was so bad was because some of the people that I would see with influenza B really did not look that sick. I mean, I would see kids who would come in with maybe a fever, it wouldn't necessarily be that high, and they may just have a headache or a fever and a stomach ache. And that was it. Like, no coughing, no runny nose, nothing like that. At least not when they came in to see me. And so with this, I think there are a lot of kids who may have had the flu whose parents didn't realize that they had the flu. Okay. Now, so I want to share just some common sense things that everybody can do, with, to protect your family against the flu. First thing, and this is just a given for anything, wash your hands. Teach your children to wash their hands. You should be washing your hands with warm water and soap for at least 20 seconds. If you do not have warm water and soap, yes, you can use hand sanitizer. However, warm water and soap is always going to trump hand sanitizer. If that is available, you want to use that, the warm water and soap. If it's not available, yes, by all means, use a hand sanitizer. Teach your child to cough into the elbow, cough like this. Not, because when you cough like this, you have now contaminated your hands, and then you touch things, or your children have contaminated their hands, and they touch everything, and they touch other people, and, that's how a lot of times things are spread. Now, also, you want to make sure that you and your children are well hydrated. And so what does well hydrated look like? There are different things about how much water you should drink based on your body weight, but a general rule of thumb is just drink enough water so that your urine looks almost clear. It should not look extremely yellow. You know when your urine looks a deep yellow, it's concentrated and you need to drink more water. So make sure that your urine is almost clear. That's what you want it to look like. Okay, and also you want to eat healthy foods. Feed your family healthy foods. Avoid sweet, sugary foods while they're sick. And, even in general, don't overdo the sweet foods. You don't want to do too much sugar, okay? Now, the other thing is getting adequate rest. Rest is extremely important. Children, depending on their ages, they should be getting from 9 to 12 hours sleep. For grown folks, you guys should be getting like 7 to 8 hours sleep. And naps are great too. The children tend to take naps. We as grown folks don't seem to get our naps. And it's really funny because as children don't want to take naps, and you're trying to get them to take naps. Then as adults, we want to take naps and we don't have time to take naps. At least me. I would love to take more naps, but I just seem not to have time to take naps. But naps are great. And I do know I have some friends who take naps regularly and they are happy, healthy people. Okay? So naps are good. Now, one thing that I want to talk about in this group, this is the holistic huddle. So I know I have a lot of holistic minded parents in here. You will notice I gave all of my little 5 tips. Those were just general tips. Did you think something was missing? You probably do think something was missing because I'm a pediatrician and I did not mention the flu shot. But I'm going to go on and talk about the flu shot. I'm going to talk about myths, what's true about it, and basically you can discuss with your child's doctor about them getting the flu shot. Now, the flu shot does not give you the flu. It does not make you sick. However, there are going to be people who it's like a medicine. So there are going to be people who react. So, every time I say the flu shot doesn't give you the flu, somebody says, oh, I know such and such took the flu shot and whatever happened. Well, yeah, maybe they had a reaction to it. So there are going to be people who may have reactions. And I know people who cannot have the flu shot because of previous reactions that they've had. So that's why I said that is up to you and your doctor about, getting the flu shot. But what I will say is the flu shot, it's not a guarantee that your child will not get the flu, but it is designed to decrease the length and severity of the flu if your child does get the shot. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about, especially in this group, because I, recently heard a story about, we're hearing the stories about the previously healthy kids who are, not like dying from the flu. Luckily, we hadn't heard about too many, but you always hear about a few. And one story that has been circulating lately is one where a woman, I think she took one child was diagnosed with the flu. The doctor gave her Tamiflu for her other children. I think she chose not to give it. And she went on a site, and I think it was like one of the anti-vax sites, and asked for recommendations on, what to do. And, she was given, various natural health recommendations. And her child continued to get worse. She eventually had to take him into the ER, and he died. So what I want to say about that is, first of all, I don't think that we should ever try to blame anyone because, we don't know the whole story, okay? I just know what I just told you, and that's like hearsay. Because of HIPAA regulations, we will probably never know the whole story, unless that mom decides to share that. But what I will say is that as a parent, when you're treating your child, I would say if you go to the doctor, if you decide to take your child to the doctor, take the doctor's recommendation. If you decided that you were concerned enough to take your child in to see a doctor, as a pediatrician, I believe that you should take the recommendation of your pediatrician. Now, The other thing that happens whenever something happens to a child, questions come up, you're questioning, what did the doctor do, and what did the parents do, and did they follow directions, or did the doctor take them seriously? All of this stuff after the fact. But from a parent's point of view, I feel like as parents, you always want to know the worst possible outcome based on the decision you make. And if you factor that into your decision, I think you're in a better position to deal with whatever outcome happens. If you don't factor that in, the thing that I really hate to hear parents say is, oh, if I had known this, I would have done that. Okay, you never want to do that. And the one thing that I will say, whether it's fair or not, parents are judged based on what directions they followed. So like in this mom's case, I've already heard things like, oh my gosh, I can't believe she didn't give the Tamiflu, and she instead listened to these people who weren't doctors. And who knows, she might have, if she gave the Tamiflu, it may not have made a difference. However, now she's probably dealing with the guilt of, oh, maybe my child would be alive had I done this. So all I'm saying to you is just, look at everything when you're making decisions for your children. And the other thing that I would say, in taking recommendations from groups, because it's actually one of the reasons that I have this group and that I wrote the book that I wrote, that I have now a course available, because I want parents to really make informed decisions that are not dangerous. You can do natural medicine that's not dangerous, but a lot of times you do it in conjunction with some traditional treatment options also. And so I've never been one that thinks that one thing is the answer. It's not going to be like, okay, we're only going to do natural medicine and we're never going to do traditional medicine, or vice versa. You're never going to have me say that I'm only going to do traditional medicine, I'm never going to do natural medicine. I think that when you blend the two together, you get the best of both worlds. And a lot of times, if you have a medical practitioner who does like integrative medicine, which I was doing, you can, when I would see patients, I can look at what's the best treatment option for this patient at this time. And I know that there are not a whole lot of integrative pediatricians around, which is why I wrote my book and did my course. Okay. So, I don't see any questions here. I will be coming back and looking, because I know that people are going to come back and see this later. So if you're watching it on a replay, just type in #replay. If you have questions, you can put your questions in, and I will come back through and look to see if there are any questions that I can answer. But, the flu can kind of go either way. Most people, nobody. The flu actually makes the body susceptible to other types of infections. So generally when you hear that someone died of the flu, they actually usually died of some complication of the flu, like they got pneumonia. There was one case recently where a child ended up with something called myocarditis, which is an inflammation around the heart, and that child had did not survive. And that was something that, no matter what was done, the outcome probably would have been the same, unfortunately. So with that, I am going to bid you farewell on this Wellness Wednesday. Oh, I said I was going to give you some more information. So I'm going to be coming on. I'm going to see how this works. I'm going to see if I can interact more with you guys on this group page. I would like us to do some more interacting. I would like you to, to ask questions, make comments on things that you hear me talking about. So I'm going to come on every week and talk to you guys about something. And if there's something that you want to hear about, drop it in the group that, hey, Dr. Pam, I want to hear about this. and that can be a topic that that we discuss. So that's my plan moving forward, that I will be on here more talking about holistic pediatric options, because this year I've branched out and I'm also doing women's well-being. So over on the Dr. Pam page for right now, I will probably more so be focusing on more general medicine, more women's well-being things. And this will be the page that I focus in on the holistic peds topics. So if you've been over on the other page, you may want to be in this group more for the holistic peds information. Okay, so I am Dr. Pam Middleton, your virtual holistic pediatrician. Through my books, programs, recently released online course, I help parents achieve and I help families achieve and maintain health and wellness through inside out healing. Bye-bye. Enjoy the rest of your Wellness Wednesday.